President Biden will sit down with Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of India, on the final day of his Asia trip. They're going to meet alongside the Prime Ministers of Australia and Japan. The last time the two met one-on-one was back in September at the White House. For more on all of it, we're going to go to former U.S. Ambassador to India. That is Tim Roemer. He joins us now. He's also a former Democratic congressman from Indiana and was a member of the Intelligence Committee. Mr. Roemer, Congressman, the relationship between the U.S. and India is a very important one. Big country, shares a border with China, with Pakistan. Before we get into the importance of this meeting, what's the state of the relationship going into it?
Well, Tony, you outlined it very well. If you're the national security advisor in America, you wake up with Canada, Mexico, and two big borders, oceans to protect you on your borders. You wake up in India, in New Delhi, and you've got China, an incursion, an invader a year and a half ago on your border, Pakistan, which India sees as an existential threat, and many other threats in the region and volatility. So very different national security threats to the United States and to India, and we need to take that into consideration, their neighborhood, how they can help us in our strategic interests going forward, the consequences of two democracies working together, the United States and India, and if India would ever decide to go closer to China and Russia, what that would mean and the consequences of that to the United States foreign policy.
And Ambassador, the president just rolled out a framework for an Indo-Pacific trade deal. As you know, Prime Minister Modi was there for the unveiling. How significant are the optics of that?
Tanya, extremely significant. This is a restoration of the United States' power and scope in Asia. It is a monumentally important economic agreement. It restores U.S. leadership in the region on the economy and also provides a lot of these Asian nations an option or alternative to China's bullying and growth and wolf warrior diplomacy. So when the president sits down to meet with Mr. Modi, who he knows well, they're going to have some frank conversations about how we deepen the U.S.-India bilateral relationship, how India might be able to be more upfront in expressing their concerns about Russia's invasion, territorial and sovereign invasion of Ukraine, and maybe how India could help on humanitarian assistance, and then how the United States and India can work on the Indo-Pacific region itself and securing open and free navigation, which is critical for our national securities.
Mr. Ambassador, let's linger on the Russia-Ukraine question for a moment, because Russia is looking for all the friends it can get, and India is among the few countries, big ones on the planet, that has not forcefully condemned the war in Ukraine, the Russian aggression, the incursion into that country. Could President Biden use this as an opportunity to get some sort of statement out of Prime Minister Modi?
Well, I think he's going to try, Tony. I think he's going to try that quietly and diplomatically behind closed doors. We want to see if Mr. Modi is open to making more of a statement when he emerges from the meeting about India's support for the people of Ukraine, for their freedom and their democracy, their territorial rights. But we're also prepared, as we were for India's votes in the UN, that sometimes they don't see the world the same way that the United States does. And we still know that we have to work with India, a great democracy. They respect the rule of law. They respect open and free press. We have so many values of people and people, the diaspora in common. These are critically important to a peaceful and prosperous world. So we'll see what the president and Mr. Modi decide to say after the meeting, but I can guarantee you inside the meeting, the president of the United States, Mr. Biden, is having very direct talks with Mr. Modi about a host of things, including Ukraine.
To be a fly on the wall on those talks.
We'll get readouts, but I'd rather be the fly on the wall. Unfortunately, it won't be. This has come close, though. Ambassador Tim Roemer, thank you very much.
Pleasure to be with you. Thank you.